Nights in the countryside have always been filled with mystery. Stories of shadows and inexplicable beings have circulated for generations, and this is no exception. Today, I will tell you about an experience my grandfather had when he was just a child. A night when the supernatural crossed paths with the earthly, and an encounter that marked his life forever. Get ready, because this is a story that will leave you breathless. This is the story of my grandfather when he was just a child. It happened on a dark night on a farm in the heart of Boyacá, Colombia. At the beginning of the last century, my grandfather's stepmother was pregnant, and the moment of childbirth arrived unexpectedly just past midnight. The family went into a panic. My grandfather, still a child, woke up alongside his brother. They were given a single mission: to leave immediately in search of the midwife, the only woman in the region who could help. Without wasting time, the two brothers ventured into the cold, dark night. The path was long and winding, barely illuminated by the light of the moon. They had not traveled far when suddenly they encountered a man. He was dressed in black, completely covered, and his face was hidden under the shadow of a large hat. The man asked them where they were going. The trusting boys told him about the childbirth and the urgency of finding the midwife. The man nodded and offered to accompany them on their journey. Along the way, the man was kind, conversational, and even offered them words of encouragement, but something about his presence seemed unsettling. As they progressed, the atmosphere grew heavier, as if something invisible were watching. Finally, they arrived at the entrance of the farm where the midwife lived. A large cross marked the boundary of the land. Suddenly, the man stopped. "Without crossing the line," he said, "I will accompany you this far, boys." He could not go any further. The children, surprised, thanked him and continued on their way. But before entering the house, my grandfather felt a strange curiosity. He turned his head to look at the man one last time. What he saw left him petrified. The man in the distance exhaled a puff of fire from his mouth, and his eyes seemed to shine with an intense red. After explaining to the midwife what they needed, he, still trembling, told her what he had seen on the way. Upon hearing this, the midwife flatly refused to leave the house, terrified. After much pleading, she finally agreed, but not before lighting several candles and beginning to pray the rosary. Together, they embarked on the journey back, praying the entire way. Sometimes, in the shadows of the night, we face the inexplicable. My grandfather never forgot that puff of fire and those burning eyes that watched him from the darkness. Perhaps we will never know what or who that man was, but one thing is certain: there are forces in this world that transcend logic, and sometimes it is better not to seek answers. What would you have done in his place? Follow me for more stories like this.